All aboard! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, football fans of all ages, I am Beast Mike. You've now arrived in my train of thought. It's time to talk about the conference championships, the Super Bowl, and NFL honors. I will talk about all three, all in a row. We're going to talk about them right now. Let's get to the AFC Championship first. And if there's one thing I learned about this, it's that Jarrett Stidham wasn't completely awful here. He was just overmatched, I would say. And it didn't start that way. It probably started out as well as you could probably hope for Denver. The defense carried their weight. They did their job. They were tremendous pretty much all day long. They got to Drake May quite often. They didn't force turnovers like I think they should have or expected them to. But they did all the simple things that they had to do, which was keep May at bay as long as they can and allow Stidham to have as many opportunities at it as he needed to. And the second one, it worked. They got the deep ball to Mims. They got the touchdown to Sutton. It's 7-0 Denver. And then Denver is kind of sort of dominating with an opportunity once again to go up by 2 scores. And then Sean Payton got in the way. He had to be too aggressive. They were in field goal range. It's clear conditions, and there's a reason why I mentioned that. And he decides, you know what? I'm going to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of just taking the 3 and going up 10-0, knowing that there's snow coming to Denver later on in the day. And as we saw, the 4th down was a complete disaster, and they get no points. New England then kind of got their footing and got back on track with a very controversial play. I do think this was backwards. I do think they got this right with the fumble. But it's the fact that they set up the Patriots offense with a short field. That's the killer part right there. Because let's face it, they weren't moving the ball at all on Denver's defense. They simply weren't. And the Bronco defense came to play. And then New England gets a short field. Once again, they do a great job of capitalizing off your mistakes. Drake May evens it up 7-all. And then we get to what made this game aggravating for Broncos fans, I'm sure. Stidham goes out of bounds on the 3rd down and saves New England time and also loses a couple of yards for Will Lutz, who badly missed the kick to the right. And New England gets an opportunity and an unearned, I would say, opportunity at kicking a field goal, but it was horribly missed. Ball don't lie. We go to the second half and we go to a blizzard. And then New England basically says, we're just going to suffocate and manually deflate the footballs, no Brady, and go to the 3rd quarter where they just held the ball for almost the entirety of it. And a suffocating drive of 10 minutes. They get 3 points out of it, but then again, considering how Jarrett Stidham was moving the ball post-touchdown to Sutton, that may have been enough. And as it turned out, that's what it was. New England suffocated the ball on their end. Denver couldn't move the ball on theirs. Even when they had the short field at the 33-yard line of New England after a terrible punt, New England proceeded to push them backwards a little bit, and then Will Lutz missed another field goal. And I don't blame Will Lutz for this loss. I really don't. To me, it's on Payton for not taking extra points in the first half, where it should have been 10-0, and then Jarrett Stidham for trying too hard. If I'm going to blame Stidham at all, it's for that. He tried too hard on some of those plays where the pocket was breaking down and New England's pass rush got home, which that part surprised me too, considering how great the defensive line was for the Patriots, sure, but Denver's offensive line was the best in the league. How do we know this? They got 2 guys nominated for the Protector of the Year award, the inaugural of such, and Garrett Bowles and Quinn Meinerz. Both had excellent all-pro caliber years. Anyway, this game ending with a Christian Gonzalez was probably fitting, as the ball that Stidham threw for Stidham was an absolute duck, and Drake May salted it away. Not enough salt to melt the snow in the Northeast over the weekend, but he melted this game away. New England becomes the first team in NFL history to go 9-0 on the road, and they also put themselves back in the Super Bowl in Mike Vrabel's first year as coach, in Drake May's second year as a starter, and the Patriots are going back to the Super Bowl, and that is an outcome that none of us like. But it's the truth. New England has faced a lot of softer teams on their schedule, but they do deserve credit, I will say this, for the Patriots. They beat 3 great defenses en route to the Super Bowl in the playoffs, despite how bad the offenses on each of those teams have played, and the fact that Denver had Jarrett Stidham instead of Bo Nix. Does Denver win this game with Nix? I would say yes, But obviously, we don't know that. And New England did what they needed to do, which was barely enough, and they survived and advanced. Denver, no shame on your season. You just caught horrible luck at the end of the Bills game, and unfortunately, will you get back there? We'll see. In theory, you should. You're going to have the Russell Wilson cap money go away, so in theory, you're going to be better prepared for next year. But for New England, you're going to go face a familiar foe in the Super Bowl no matter what happens in the NFC. Speaking of which, let's go to Seattle and let's go to the NFC Championship. We expected this game to be great because, let's face it, the first one was very good and the second one was a Game of the Year contender. This one also fits the Game of the Year contender status. Punch, counterpunch. That's how this game worked out between LA Rams and Seattle. It was punch, Kenneth Walker scores. Counterpunch, Tyrell Williams gets an obligatory tutty. Of course he did, because he scored in every round in these playoffs. Punch, Seattle punches back with a wide open JSN touchdown. Counterpunch, Devontae Adams gets him some and gets a piece as Devontae Adams' quest to go to the Super Bowl continues. Punch, Seattle takes advantage of the terrible Rams special teams and Xavier Smith with the muffed punt, the second one of the game on his part, and this led to Tyrell Williams basically fair catching punch the rest of the way through, and Seattle immediately scoring with the Bobo Tutty. Counterpunch, taunt the body is a true combo as Week Woolen decided to taunt the Rams sidelines. He was warned apparently earlier in the game and had taunting penalties earlier in the year, and the next play, the football gods did not like this and absolutely had him get beat by Puka Nacua for a tutty, because of course he did. Counterpunch by Seattle, or more punch by the Seahawks with Cooper Kupp, former Ram and former Super Bowl MVP with the Rams, catching a touchdown pass to restore order, if you will, for the Seahawks. Counterpunch? No. This time there would be no counterpunch by the Rams, and instead, it would be the Seahawks defense with the two-piece combo to finish the proceedings. A very good performance by both these teams. It's a shame that Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Devontae Adams, Tyrell Williams, and company are going to go out like this, but the Seahawks defense made a stand as Devin Witherspoon decided to stand up for his boys and make it happen, and stopping the third and fourth down plays that happened for Seattle. And the Seahawks were able to salt basically the rest of this game away. Unfortunately for Puka Nacua, he couldn't get out of bounds in time, and that was Blouses. That was game. Great work by Seattle to get this done and win round 3 in what was a very worthy NFC Championship. Great work. And for the Rams, it's a shame on their part that they went out like this, but unfortunately, Xavier Smith with the muff kick might have been the tide turner and might have really honestly been the difference in this game. That, and you could argue, okay, should the Rams have kicked the field goal and it's only 31-30? Maybe. I don't fault them for going for it, though. There's only 5 minutes left, and we can't guarantee that the Rams were going to make that happen. Like, get the ball back one more time with decent field possession. As we saw, they almost ran out of time before they even had the ball. So I can't even get mad at McVay and company going for it. Plus, Stafford being the MVP, and more on that later, and Puka Nacua potentially being the Offensive Player of the Year, more on that later. I don't fault them at all. The Seattle just played great defense on that play, made sure that Nacua and Adams aren't going to beat us, or Kyron Williams not going to beat them to win the NFC Championship. So I can't fault that. It's just best versus best. Seattle's best won. That's all there is to it. Congrats to Seattle and Sam Darnold shedding the ghosts of, well, his career past. Good work on his part. No, an 0-2 week for me in Conference Championship Sunday. I am 6-6 overall in these playoffs. And we're going to get back to the playoff stuff, the Super Bowl stuff. We're going to get back to that a little bit. But first, I've got to talk about NFL honors and the awards show coming up next week. I got to talk about how I think these awards are going to go and my predictions, or at least who I would pick if I had a ballot to vote for such a thing. I should probably have a ballot, but anyway, let's talk about it. I'm going to start with the Protector of the Year award. There are several worthy candidates here. Pretty much everybody here is a worthy candidate. And my choice is going to be Penei Sewell of the Detroit Lions, who had an excellent year. Obviously, he fought through some injuries throughout the year that were nagging every now and again. But Sewell has really helped the Detroit Lions do what they do. He helped Jahmyr Gibbs and Ty Montgomery do their thing. Obviously, that offense was still pretty solid when they weren't playing the Packers or the Vikings. They cooked, and they cooked well. Give me Penei Sewell. I would have thought about either of the Denver guys, but I think they take votes away from each other. I did think about Aaron Brewer as well because of his excellent work enabling Devon Achane to have a breakout season and finish top 5 in rushing and be number 1 in terms of yards per carry. I did think about Brewer as well. But my first choice, I guess if I had to rank them 1, 2, 3, give me Sewell, give me Brewer, give me Garrett Bowles. I think that's going to be my top 3. That's how I would probably rank it. Next up, I'm going to go with the Assistant Coach of the Year award. And my pick for this is going to be Clint Kubiak, Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator, helping out Sam Darnold to have another really good season and helping out JSN become a dominant fixture. And Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet doing their thing as they were terrorizing people with the run game of Thunder and Lightning. Obviously, Cooper Kupp staying healthy, handling his. And an offensive line that's, though it's not great, they did enough. And I think they did well enough to keep Sam Darnold vertical. And when Darnold wasn't self-destructing, everything was cool. So give me Clint Kubiak, who may be the Raiders coach pretty much after this game, for the Coach of the Year assistant-wise. I will go Vic Fangio second because I love what the Eagles defense did this year. And I will go third. I'll probably go Brian Flores for that, for the Vikings defense. The Minnesota defense was really good and unfortunately got wasted because of bad QB play and or a bunch of injuries to the quarterback situation. So give me that as my top 3 here. From assistants to main guys. So Coach of the Year in terms of head coaches. I'm going to stick with the pick that I had at the start of this year, Kyle Shanahan of the Niners. And with all the injuries and all the adversity that Niners team had, the fact that they were a game away from having the number 1 seed in the NFC, that speaks volumes to me. And for Kyle Shanahan to keep this together and with all the depth and all the stuff that they had to go through this year, and they even won a playoff game, and I know that obviously that doesn't count for this, I'm very impressed with the job that Kyle Shanahan had. We should put respect on his name, I think, by giving him Coach of the Year. Mike Vrabel does deserve credit, no question. Obviously, the schedule is far weaker, but Vrabel and company did a really good job as the head coach for the Patriots, and I will give him second for such a thing. As for third, Mike Macdonald is in play, and I think I will go Macdonald third. I love the way that he and Seattle came on strong at the very end of this season, and they stayed hot enough to snatch the 1 seed from the Niners and that classic game from the Rams as well towards the end of the year. So Mike Macdonald deserves his flowers as well in his second year as coach of Seattle. But I'm going to go with Mike Shanahan's kid, Kyle, as the Coach of the Year. Next up, let's talk about the Comeback Players of the Year. First, defensive. Give me Aiden Hutchinson of the Lions to win the defensive version of this award. Now, I know they don't do a defensive one. They should. But I'm going to go Aiden Hutchinson for Defensive Comeback Player of the Year. I think he had a very good season after what was a brutal injury. You remember that injury he had in Dallas where it was just nasty. Hutchinson, I think, was overall tremendous this year. Big time. He played all 17 games. He was an absolute menace getting home to the quarterback, 9.5 sacks. I think he was an absolute unit this year. Give me Aiden Hutchinson for the defensive version if there was a defensive version of this award. And again, there should be. Offensive Comeback Player of the Year is pretty easy, and I'm going to actually double up with this one. So give me Offensive Comeback Player of the Year and Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey. And the reason is simple why he's going to get both awards to me. The Comeback Player of the Year is obvious because McCaffrey coming back after what was a non-season last year effectively is one thing. But then to have 2,100 yards from scrimmage and 17 touchdowns, he nearly went 1,000 for the second time in his career, for the second different team in his career. And he was an absolutely dominant force and the one constant force on the Niners the entire season. Give me CMC to go double up, go comeback player and offensively, and then obviously go with the Offensive Player of the Year award. As for who would finish third comeback player of the year wise for me, I would probably say Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence came on real strong as the Jaguars were scorching hot down the stretch, and Lawrence played probably the best ball of his career over the last month and a half of the season, 2 months of the season, something like that. I think Trevor Lawrence was an absolute unit. Yes, the turnovers were a little much early on, but he came on super strong to make that happen and get the Jaguars to the 3rd seed in the AFC. As for the Offensive Player of the Year and who would finish right after CMC, give me the 2 receivers in the West. So it's an all NFC West podium. I'll go JSN slightly over Puka Nacua. They were so comparable this year. Smith and Jigba barely had more yards. Nacua had more catches barely, and they were even in touchdowns. They were so dominant, both of them. Nacua finished so strong down the stretch, but Smith and Jigba, I think, was a little bit more consistent. Give me that as my 2nd and 3rd. Smith and Jigba and Puka Nacua are 2 and 3 for the Offensive Player of the Year awards. So not much has gone right in Cleveland this year. I will say this about Carson Schlesinger. He's had a tremendous season overall as a rook, and he will be my choice for the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was big time on a defense that was big time and top tier in their unit and what they did. Yes, we'll get to Myles Garrett, obviously. Mason Graham was also a tremendous pick that allowed Schlesinger to go to work the way he did. But Carson Schlesinger had a big-time season, and he's a fairly, to me, easy choice for the Defensive Rookie of the Year. 157 combined tackles, 2.5 sacks. He was cooking. He had 2 NOs as well. And I just love what he was doing there in the middle of that Browns defense as an off-ball linebacker, making life so much easier for the likes of Myles Garrett. More on him later, obviously. Second after him, Nick Emmanwori from Seattle. A really impressive season on his part. I thought he cooked for a lot of this. And that was a real tough one, actually. I thought about Emmanwori for the award, but I will go him second. And James Pierce, Abdul Carter, tricky one who will go 3rd there. I will go with Pierce slightly over Carter, but that's a real close one for me. I thought Atlanta did a pretty good job with him and Xavier Watts. Pierce and Watts as 2 of their first few picks. Atlanta was impulsive in trading up, but they made it happen. Good job there. And Abdul Carter looks like he's going to be a menace for years to come along the defensive line in New York. So that's my picks there for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Ted McMillan will be the Offensive Rookie of the Year. This was a tricky one because you had it in spurts. McMillan came on at the end, but then at the start of the year, it looked like this was going to be Emeka Egbuka, or this is going to be Travion Henderson in the middle of the year. But at the end, it was Ted McMillan, and he was part of the reason why the Panthers made the playoffs, and he showed why he was a top 10 pick and worthy of that distinction. He became Bryce Young's number 1 target with relative ease and showed his really good playmaking abilities pretty much the entire second half of the year. Great work by Ted McMillan in that realm. Henderson was hard to pass up, I would say, in part because of the home runs he was hitting throughout the season, at least the second half of it. And Egbuka, had he not gotten hurt, probably would have won this award because Emeka Egbuka was tremendous, especially in the first half of the year where he was hitting home runs and was filling in very nicely for future Hall of Famer Mike Evans. So that would be my top 3. I go McMillan, Egbuka, Henderson, 1, 2, 3. I think the 2 quarterbacks nominated for this award, and Dart and Tyler Shough, will get love. I don't think they should get the love I think they're going to receive here. At least not in this realm. I do like what Tyler Shough was doing in New Orleans, though. I think he was doing pretty well. Had New Orleans made the playoffs, maybe I consider him for the award, but I'm not going to go that route here. And now let's go to the 2 main event awards, if you will, since I already did Offensive Player of the Year. This should be unanimous. There's no way that anybody else not named Myles Garrett should get a first-place vote for Defensive Player of the Year. And this is not to say that Will Anderson wasn't a monster. This is not to say that Nick Bonitto and Micah Parsons were cooking. It's not to say that Hutchinson wasn't cooking. It's not to say any of these other things. The point is Myles Garrett broke the sack record and was an absolutely unstoppable machine for a lot of this season. yes, he did go about a month without a sack or so, or half a sack, something like that. Sure. But Myles Garrett was a complete menace, and I think teams were basically saying, you will not break the sack record on my watch. I think that's what effectively happened here towards the end of the season. And I'm glad he broke it against Joe Burrow. There's just some pass rusher to quarterback combination I just naturally think of in NFL history that just scream, okay, this makes sense. Garrett to Burrow makes sense, similar to how Bruce Smith to Dan Marino made sense. As a Dolphins fan, that hurts, but it's the truth. Derek Thomas to John Elway, rest in peace, Derek Thomas. That just makes sense to me. Things like that. Like there's just some pass rusher to quarterback combinations where it's just legendary figures in NFL history, and I just can't get out of my mind. Like that's the first quarterback I think of when the pass rushers come in for him. Like Ron Jaworski to Lawrence Taylor, for example. Like that's like an old school example. You get it, but you get the point I'm saying. Where it's like old school legendary pass rusher coming for legendary figure at quarterback. I just can't get that image out of my head where it's like, okay, Myles Garrett's coming for Joe Burrow. You know what time it is. So Myles Garrett's got to unanimously get this award. As for second and third, it's pretty simple for me. Will Anderson should be second, and I'd probably go Benito because of everything that he did this year, where it was coming out for the quarterback. Sure, he could do that. Where those deflecting passes, yeah, he could do that. Whether it was making big plays off the ball, yeah, he could do that. Nick Benito was that. I did think of Micah Parsons here too, but Parsons missing the last month kind of killed that buzz, even though the impact he had on the Packer defense was big time and really turned that defense from, okay, it's pretty good to, oh, wow, it's actually really great. So that's my top three, and then Parsons would probably be four. And now the QB MVP award, because let's face it, that's what it is. The winner's Matt Stafford, and Matt Stafford was so productive the entire year. Yes, he had a couple bad games against the NFC South. Okay, sure. But aside from that, that's really the only true blemishes on his wall for the 2025 season. Stafford was tremendous all the way through the regular season, had some big throws in the playoffs. I know it doesn't count for this, but he was big time when he had to be, getting the ball to Puka Nacua, who was great. Devontae Adams led the league in touchdowns. Stafford did his thing. And aside from, I would say, the Panther loss and maybe a little bit the Falcon loss, even though he did help bring them back to 24-all before Atlanta stole the game late. I can only truly blame the one loss I truly blame on Stafford was probably Carolina. Aside from that, I really don't blame too much on him in terms of the Rams' losses, as painful as all of them were this year, which includes the NFC Championship. Matt Stafford wins MVP, and I think he kind of further cements himself as a Hall of Famer to be. So give me Matt Stafford as the 2025/26 NFL MVP. And congratulations to all the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award nominees. I wish all of them well in terms of their charitable contributions. So salute to all of them for all of that. And the Hall of Famers to be coming out next week as well. So salute to all of them. And now let's get to the Super Bowl. And let's get to Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara. Patriots, Seahawks, rematch of Super Bowl 49. We all know what happened here. We know Seattle. We're not going to go through it all that much. You were a play away from starting a potential dynasty, and you completely foobarred. Pete Carroll, we're looking at you. Anyway, let's get to this game, and let's not worry about the past here. The Mark McGuire challenge. Let's talk about what's happening here. For the Patriots, it's pretty simple. They have done what they've needed to do. They don't make too many mistakes. They capitalize off your mistakes. And they are just a well-coached, smart football team. There's not much else to say here. Drake May's had a great year. Schedule being one thing, sure, but Drake May has been one of those people not to make too many mistakes. And Stephon Diggs has been all right, and Kayshon Bouttie's been okay. And when Ramondre Stevenson's not fumbling the ball, the run game's been pretty decent. And then you have All Reliable and Hunter Henry at tight end. They've worked it out. They've figured it out. They've found ways to win. And they've done it by just being the more efficient team in most of their games. When really they lose, they self-destruct. That's kind of what happened here. See Ramondre Stevenson against Pittsburgh and all the fumbles they had in that game. They had 6 turnovers in that game, believe it or not. Anyway, this is kind of how it goes down for the Patriots. And then there's Seattle, who has truly emerged as the best team. They have also been a team that has been dynamic on both sides of the ball. Offensively, you already know what time it is. Jackson Smith-Njigba has been an absolute unit. He has been completely destructive and have proven positive that letting DK Metcalf go and not keeping Tyler Lockett was a good decision to hand the keys over to JSN. He has been dominant all season long and may win Offensive Player of the Year despite my voting. Kenneth Walker has done a great job, and it's a shame that Zach Charbonnet can't compliment him in this game because Charbonnet has also been very good. They have been a great Thunder and Lightning combo, but Kenneth Walker has done well to hold it down on his own. That's fine. Cooper Kupp is back in the Super Bowl, and it is the third time he is in such a game. This is the first time, obviously, as a Seahawk. He's 1-1, and he's got a score to settle against the Patriots, as we know, because he was not there in the end zone when he needed to be against the Patriots the first time they saw Cooper Kupp. But we ain't talking about that right now. We're talking about the Super Bowl here. And can Cooper Kupp get his second ring in the NFC West and even win his second Super Bowl MVP in the NFC West? Because that could also be possible. And working on a potential borderline Hall of Fame career if Kupp gets this done. And then there's the defensive side of it, where Mike McDonald has done a masterful job of getting that defense right. They are relentless. They are coming after you in waves. They hit you hard, and they hit you often. Emmanwori has been a tremendous rookie pick, as I mentioned before during the awards. The quarterback situation, corners have been kind of feast or famine, if you will. Reek Wolin has gotten the ire of many Seahawks fans, never mind the taunting. But Devin Witherspoon has been very worthy of the top 5 pick of the NFL draft. He is proving it as such once again this year. They come after you with Leonard Williams up front and company, and they do a very good job of stopping the run. They also do a very good job of hitting you with the linebackers. And they're just overall a really good defense that comes after you. And the big X factor for Seattle since the deadline, Rashid Shaheed, who's been an absolute revelation since coming over to Seattle with his kick returns and the punt returns. He basically ended the San Francisco game with his return. And obviously as a second receiver, he has become an absolute force with the home run hit speed that he has, or slot receiver, if you will, depending on where you line up with Cooper Kupp. Seattle has been able to do this with overall talent and ability. Sure, they'll make their mistakes. Darnold will make his. But they seem to get away with it because they just come at you in waves on both sides of the football. And that, to me, is where I think they're going to be very productive once again. And I'm going to go, this will be, I think, a pretty good game. I think New England will actually stay in it for the majority of it. But I think Seattle's just too strong. Give me 31-21 Seattle. I think they will pull away late, get a late score to make this a 2-score game. But I think this is a 1-score game for the majority of it. And overall, even though I think Christian Gonzalez will have his wins against JSN, I'm going to go Jackson Smith and Jigba for my Super Bowl MVP. I think he will have a very good game, whether it's Gonzalez or whomever it may be against him. I think he will go and win the Super Bowl MVP, and I think that's how this season will end for Seattle. They get their second title, and Jets fans everywhere are going to hope for a meteor to hit Santa Clara, but unfortunately their quest will be denied because it's the quarterback that you could not develop versus the ops that's a little north of you in Foxborough. It's not great for Jets fans, and most AFC East fans are going to op watch or hate watch that the Patriots are here, and most NFC West fans are going to hate watch that the Seahawks are here. So there we have it. I think this is going to be a pretty fun game. Again, 31-21, give me JSN for the Super Bowl MVP. Speaking of the AFC East, my Dolphins are in that division, and I've got some mock drafts to do. Miami Mock Mondays. I'm going to drop another mock, and I may do a preview mock beforehand. That's on social media. That won't be a video form. I'm going to do the official mock 2 on Monday. I'll do the player comps, and I'll also talk about some of the coaching hires the Dolphins have made between last Monday and this one. I don't necessarily love the Nate Hackett one, but at least he's not the head coach. I think I can be okay with that portion of it. Anyway, that's how this is going to go with the Miami Mock Monday. As for next week, other videos that will include the power rankings, the first of which for the NBA and the NHL. Here's how this is going to go. Wednesday will be hockey. I'll do the NHL version of it first as we get closer to the winter break before the Winter Olympics. And then Thursday, because it's the trade deadline for the NBA, I will do the power rankings for the NBA. So this probably means hockey-wise, I won't have to do any until they get back from the Olympics. So I might be able to just ride out with the NBA for 2 weeks or at least a week, and then we got the All-Star break. So it may be a matter of both go now, NBA only next week, NHL only the week after because the All-Star break is President's Day weekend. So that's how that's going to go. And then pretty much towards the end of February will be the next time there will be a power ranking for both. There's going to be no need to change them due to the respective breaks. Anyway, that's how this is going to go on this channel. So that means Miami Mock Monday. You're going to be the first stop of my next train of thought.